Hello everyone, this is a tutorial to assist you in the process of going through the tutorial of so-called Oracle DBA 101. The Oracle DBA 101 tutorial is designed to give you a glance of what Oracle DBA look like, and we learn a little bit user management and learn a little bit instant management and network configuration in this particular tutorial. It actually cover a lot of this technology know-how that you learn from our textbook chapter 9, 10, 11, a little bit number 12. But if you want to go into deeper of this particular topic, it may take the entire semester. As a matter of fact, when I was learning this particular topic, when Oracle was still in Oracle 10G, I spent 5 full days sitting in a lab learning all these DBA jobs. And 5 full days is equivalent almost like a entire semester's lecture that to listen to practice. We didn't even have a lab. I just sitting there, follow the instructor, and read through all the slide. And later I took an exam just to test to see how much I can remember. That is, Oracle database management system itself is a very complicated system that enable a lot of flexibility that user or actually organization can use it to configure and to make the system more powerful. The weak side is that, or on the other hand, that you will encounter problem when you try to understand that a system when it is not working well. In most of the situations, especially in the learning process, the problem usually coming from the network communication aspect of the configuration. So this tutorial is to get you ready. So if you encounter problem in the tutorial and corresponding exercise and assignment, and you can use this video to help you. Now, first of all, we use this default virtual desktop environment. And when you log into virtual desktop, and of course, we always use this GIS Oracle box. Yeah, let's call this a box. And to make sure that you have a brand new box, uh, in theory, I think the Citrix machine or Citrix server will reset your connection every 24 hours. So every day at the end of the day, at midnight Central Time, it will be reset to the original shape and setting. But if you are playing with the VirtualBox for a while and mess it up and cannot go back to the way you want the system to be, make sure that you restart the machine. So what I did earlier here is that on the desktop, you click on this details, and there is a restart button here. Once you click on this, you will get your machine back to the original state. And I'll do that right now. So this is the restart process. As you can see, the uh, system is actually restarted. And what I would do here is after it's finished, I'll open up the virtual desktop. And so now the virtual desktop is opening up, and let me wait a little until its setting is ready. Okay, so it took a while, but from the recording, I kind of shorten and pause so we don't see the waiting. So when you're using the desktop, it depends on what time of the day you are using. Usually in the evening, it will take a longer time to reset and set up because most of our students are working adults, and you are using the machine or system in the after hour, I should say. So when the VirtualBox is ready, the first thing we need to do is to start the Oracle service. So the virtual desktop set up the service to be started manually. If you do this in your own personal computer, the typical setting is whenever you start your computer, it will the Oracle service and the listener service, both of them will be starting automatically. But it is actually recommended as practice machine. You want to start this manually. Why? Because if you are running Oracle, and Oracle is a server software, so if you run Oracle on your personal computer, it may take up too much of your computer resource. And we know that a lot of time that we found when you install too many software, your machine tends to slow down. So setting this up manually, that will be more reasonable if you want to control the performance of your computer. Okay, so instead of starting the service from the service tab, and what I would do here is I will start the service from a utility Oracle provided. This is a little bit different from earlier tutorial that I use a service utility to start. And I'll open up the service utility in a minute so you know what I'm talking about. So this is called the Oracle Instant Manager. So we can start the Instant Manager, and this Instant Manager will help you to start the Oracle service using a more graphical interface. And when you click on this instance, actually this is the instance we want to start, and it's called the Oracle DB18 Home 1, and this is actually a default name for a installation. As you can probably see that the status here says stopped. It's actually Oracle is not running at this particular point in time, and you can click on this actions and start up the process. And here to start up the process, you have to be a system administrator to do so, or DBA to do so. And the account we use as a default DBA is this account called UIS. And the password on our virtual desktop is password. So let me put on the password here. And when you start the instance, we want to start both the service and the instance as well. Now in our tutorial, there's some explanation about what does that mean by an instance and what is a service. It can be very confusing, especially if you're not using the terminology often. But those are the terminology that used by Oracle. And services are actually the main, if you can think of this, services are the program that make the program a server, because it provides service to other clients. So we have to start the service as well as the instance, and that is the combination of memory and allocated the processing resource for your, in this case, database management system. So let's get it started by clicking OK here. And it will take a while, so I'll pause and come back. On my machine, it took about 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute to start the process. So when you are using this wizard, make sure that you be patient and wait until the system returns to this particular status. So now you can see that the service is running. To check to see if your service is running, of course, we can use this window utility called service. So let me start by typing service in the search menu. You can start the service utility and check to see if the two important services of Oracle listener and as well as this Oracle service, both of them should be running. So now we have this ORCL, Oracle service is running. ORCL is the SID for the instance that we are using. And the other one supposed to be running is the listener. And there are multiple ways you can start the listener service, but without and typically a DBA, Oracle DBA will use a command line statement or command line program called the listener controller to start the listener. But in here, we can just take a shortcut and use the service utility to start the service. So when these two services are running, up and running, so you see these are running, and you have a server, fully functional server. But for our DBA exercise in the Enterprise 18C version, there is one layer of complexity we need to handle. And this is actually, I tried to explain in the tutorial, but since I'm not writing a book, it's probably not detailed enough and probably not explain the little nuance enough to help you understand the whole thing. The catch here is that you are managed between both something what we call pluggable database as well as the container database. And what I would do is I will start the typical DBA management environment in Oracle will be the SQL developer. And of course, you can use other management tools such as on our virtual desktop. There's another tool called Visualizer, VB, the DB Visualizer. Sorry, and you can find that in from the start menu. But Oracle default program is the SQL developer, so we were using SQL developer to do all the job, almost all the job here. So once you have started SQL developer, now we can make a connection as a DBA system account in here. And some of the exercise in the tutorial will guide you through something what we call the DBA view. But in here, I will just simply create a connection. Let's call this Oracle 18C SYS or system connection, right? And the user will be the SYS user, and the password is the lowercase password, and that is pretty much the password we set for all the application on the virtual desktop that require some sort of a password, default password. Now, be very careful that we have to specify a role for the sys account when you log in as a sys user, and select the SYS DBA account for that particular purpose. The SID will be ORCL. And when you make this connection will connect to a environment we call the container of the current instance. So this is the current instance database, and the DBA view can be opened up from here. And the basic structure is that the container will have a lot of this pluggable database, and each pluggable database need to be plugged in to be useful, and need to be open to be useful. And a pluggable database can be viewed from here. How many of this pluggable database are there? And the basic idea of a pluggable database is that it's for management purpose. Say, for example, if your organization has multiple departments, each department want to have their own database. This is actually violate the enterprise resource management concept. But if you have that need for, say, privacy or security reason, you can set up multiple pluggable database for each department. And some larger operations, say if you are running a shopping mall, and there are a lot of small shop. Each shop has their own database. And when you are running a shopping mall, you have a copy of the Oracle database. You can actually rent the pluggable database to your tenant in this case. So this is actually why another name for the Oracle 18C or higher. It's called a multi-tenant database management system. So that's what we have right now. So in the DBA view, what we can see here is that we have a container database, which is the one that we have connect from here. And we also want to create something called actually not create. There is a instance of the Oracle PDB this is the pluggable database. So the PDB stands for pluggable. So ORCL. ORCL is the original container's name, and you put a PDB, and this is the default pluggable database. And most of the user data will be put in here in the pluggable. The container is you only use for management purpose. So if your organization doing some business, buying and selling, all the transaction should be saved in the pluggable database, not the container database. And this is the reason that you cannot create a user in a container database, and the user created in the container is different. It's more like a global user concept. So we're going to be using the local user, maybe local administrator. But in this case, the sys account is an administrator for both the container and pluggable database. You can create additional pluggable only at the local level administrator, so that you have a multi-level sort of a accountability and responsibility setting. All right, so to make the pluggable work, or actually if you can manage the user or doing anything with the pluggable, we have to do some additional configuration. One of the first thing to do is to plug in and open the database up and enable the database. And at its current status, the container database is on, but the Oracle pluggable database is off. It's ORCLPDB is off. It's visible there because the system know there is a database out there, but it's not yet hooked up to the container yet. So we are going to be plugging the pluggable database, and to do that, we are going to be use a statement, a SQL statement called alter pluggable database. And all these are keywords from the alter statement. And alter, by the way, is a data definition, well, actually data manipulation language that we learned in previous chapter. So we're going to be alter pluggable database, and with the name is called the ORCL PDB, and the status we're going to be doing for the database is open, and there are options of open in here. I would not elaborate too much about what are the options. Basically, we want to the default setting is that we can open or plug in the database for read and write. You can do both reading and writing. So it's a full editing sort of privilege that we have in the pluggable database. So we will do that. And some of the database, for example, if you're creating a catalog and you don't want the user to modify anything of it, you can create read only, and that's some of the things we can do there. So once you have that, we can execute that statement, and hopefully we get a successful description. So it's successful, so you have this pluggable database alter, so meaning that it's already open. And the next thing we want to do to make a connection to the pluggable database is make the pluggable database visible on the network, so we can use the environment like the SQL developer to connect to the pluggable database. And to do that, let me just open up this connection option to you. If you set up this correctly on a network, we can use some sort of a host name, or in this case, basic will be a TCP/IP way of making connection. Or we're going to be, in this example, we're going to be using, there are multiple ways. Some of them you already see in our class. Say, for example, SSH. Now we do that with PuTTY utility. We use SSH to make connection to the server. In this case, in this example, we're going to be using a traditional Oracle connection, sort of like phone book type of peer-to-peer network connection mechanism called the TNS name mechanism. So we're going to be selecting the TNS, and we can find some of the alias here. And currently we have only ORCL, which is the one that we connect earlier using our sister account. And there are a couple of others, and each one of them play their role there in the Oracle database management. What we are going to be doing is to create one more connection, or the alias, so that we can connect through TNS name into the pluggable database. The way to do that is through one of the utility as well, using Oracle. And several utilities can achieve the same purpose. You can also do this within the SQL Plus environment. But for the business student like we are, we can just simply use the wizard utility provided to us. The most popular tool for this particular job is either Net Configuration Assistant or Net Manager. And to me, I found that Net Manager is more intuitive, so I will use Net Manager as a tool. So let me start the Net Manager. So start the Net Manager, you will go through a wizard. That's give you a few seconds. And this wizard, you see that you can see all the service and listener you can have, network connection method you can have on this particular server. So we have two kind of connection. One is through service name, the other is called a listener, right? And listener is a very important know-how in network configuration in the Oracle environment. And since we're not actually doing the Oracle task, now we'll just probably show you how to do the TNS instead to make sure you can complete the assignment, that is. To create one additional way of connecting to the pluggable database. Currently, there is no way to connect to pluggable database at all, unless you are using a SQL Plus and log in directly to the pluggable database. But from the SQL developer or other similar visual or graphical tool that we use to manage the database, we have to create that connection. So let's call this simply ORCL PDB. That is the name we saw earlier. And you have to enter all these configuration exactly what I'm writing here. There are a lot of reasons for each one of this selection, why I select this or that. But again, it will take a while to explain. The host will be, in this case, local host, because we are running the server on the machine we are accessing the database. So the default will be fine. If you are running this on the network, the host name might be the host name we use for listener. At the end of this process, I'll show you the listener configuration so you know what kind of host name we are looking at. So once we've done that, the next thing we're going to be doing is the service name. The service name is the database name plus the host name. In our case, will be ORCL PDB dot local host. Right, so that will be the complete service name. And there are different connection type. If you want to take a look at their different configuration of Oracle database, so that multiple machine can work together. We'll just use a default in the single machine, single server setting. And once you're done with that, we can test the account or connection to see if that's good. Click on test. The test says test failed because they are using an account called Scott Tiger. Scott Tiger is actually a training account for designed for Oracle University very early in time. This username password connection exists before 10G. After 10G, they actually get rid of this Scott Tiger to avoid the hacker of using this account. They create another user called HR. But long story short, we need to use another user to test. And let's then click on this change login. And instead of using Scott, let's use system. And there's a reason I don't want to use the SYS. SYS account can be only connected as a sysdba, so it's not suitable to be used in this testing here. And password is still password. And system is another DBA account that by default created by Oracle installation. So once we have that account ready, you can test it again. And this testing should be successful. So once your test is successful, then your machine or all the assignment is ready to go. You can follow the process and make sure everything works well. But we're not done yet. And make sure that you click on this finish, and a new entry is already created. One last thing on the Oracle Net Manager is that if you click on the listener, you go to address 1, and you will, if you look at the listener location. Well, actually, no, it's not necessary. You can see that the listener is looking at the host right here. Right, so if you add additional address there, for example, your server address, then it will be visible outside of the internet. But currently, it's only visible to the machine that running this particular server. Right. So that is the utility that we are using. And make sure you close the utility and it will ask you, do you want to save the files or not, and make sure you say save it. Now, to entertain your curiosity and actually give you a little bit more about how Oracle manage the network connection, is that the network connection of Oracle system is managed through two configuration files, and these two files are accessible through a text editor. So I'm opening up a Notepad++. On the virtual desktop, the Oracle installation is under the root hard drive, and if you go into the root, you'll find there's a folder called Oracle Install. Open that Oracle Install, and there is an admin. Don't go in there. Go into something called the network, and going to network, there is another admin. This admin is the admin of the network configuration. Go in there. There are 4 files there. The 2 of them are the most important one. One is called listener. It's used for configuring the listener so the listener service can run properly. And the other one is TNS name. Like I said, it's a peer-to-peer sort of a client-server type of connection mechanism. And let's take a look at both. And they're actually very simple, but with some of the name or terminology you may not understand. But this you can probably see very clearly. It's called a host, and there is a port there. This is the default Oracle port, and we can also open up TNS name. You will see similar setting, but a more entry. This more entry is to provide local access for ORCL, listener, and the new one we created is right here. It's called ORCL PDB, and so that is the service name that we are running. Right? So that's where the information is saved. The wizard that we run earlier is basically just for you to for you to make the job easier, right? So with the graphical process with the wizard support. All right. So, but by the way, it creates actually more confusion for a well-trained DBA, because most of the Oracle DBA, they are actually running the configuration through SQL Plus or command line. So let me just try to do this. Let's make another connection. In this case, we'll have ORCL PDB SYS connection. Right. So the user name is still SYS. The password is password, and we can save the password. And as I mentioned, we are going to be using the TNS. That is what we have just configured, and we still have to change the role to sysdba, and you can now select this ORCL PDB, and this connection will be going to the pluggable database. And so when you make a connection, or you can do a test, success, and you can make a connection. So now we have this pluggable database connection, and now you can do all the management job in here. You can also create another DBA view by using the second connection if you want to do so, and the second view will be only for the pluggable, not for the container. So if you open up this one, you don't see a container here because it's working like a traditional Oracle database, and this original container connection is one level higher, called the root level view for the database management. Right. So once you get here, you should probably solve all the technical problems you should have in your assignment number 10, I believe. And good luck. And I hope you enjoy all this new knowledge you learn from Oracle system.